I took 30 days off of work to recover from burnout, and I will forever be changed by the experience, and I want to talk about it. If you happen to be new here, my name is Brittany, your go-to guide for everything work style, and at this point, everything from the perspective of a woman navigating her mid-30s. I want to say welcome. Be sure, if you are interested in following along, to subscribe. My body was giving me early warning signs. I was just ignoring them like most of us do. I could feel that I was like running on fumes, and my body was kind of trying to catch up really to everything that was going on in my mind. And so I would say that cycle went on for about 3 years of just kind of having this feeling of like, hey girl, you need to take a break. Hey girl, we might need a break. I've always like really enjoyed my job and what I do. And so a lot of the times it was easy to kind of push away those feelings that kind of come up of like a bit of tiredness and anxiousness. So I'm like, I'm doing what I like, push through. But earlier this year, that just became a little bit harder, and I felt the tug on my mental health shifting, honestly, where it was getting to the point where like I couldn't ignore it. Everything that was going on in the world and just all of it, I felt like was kind of weighing on me, and I could just feel it changing how I am naturally. I was more irritable, I was annoyed, I was overthinking, I was anxious. And I know a lot of us probably have those kind of like emotions naturally, but it was more than usual. Like I could feel something was off, and it was gonna only be a matter of time before my body was like, okay, sis, you don't want to listen to me? We're just going to make you take a break, right? And I never wanted to get to that point. So I was like, I have to do something. And that kind of feeling of just being disconnected to who I like being naturally led me to some conversations with friends, kind of reaching out like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm just at a loss. And one of my good friends, thank God for her, she was like, maybe you should just talk to your job and ask them for the time off. Haha, so simple, right? And we all know that it's just not that simple. But what she said, I felt it that day. And I was like, yeah, I should start there. And it took a while for me to get the courage to ask. I was terrified to ask, like absolutely fucking scared. And I love my boss, love my job again, but I couldn't bring myself to ask. And honestly, I think it maybe took a month or two for me to get the courage to ask. And if I think back to why I was scared that asking for time off would make me look weak. I was scared that it would affect my career growth. I worked so hard to kind of, get where I am. I didn't want any backlash from it. And at this point, I had no facts. These were all assumptions. But to my surprise, when I went to my boss, she was like, absolutely. And I had voiced all of these things, and she was like, she didn't say you're crazy, but it was like, no, we actually value you, and we actually care about you, and we want you to be well. So, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're well first, was the response I got from both my bosses. And I was honestly blown away because, like I said, this is kind of 3 years brewing, right? And I have been kind of pushing it down in my head, and then it was just like, yes. And in the moment I was like, wow, are you serious? But it was a yes. And surprisingly, the even bigger blessing during that time was not just that, but one of my bosses actually recommending that I try therapy. I was actually able to pinpoint what caused the burnout, what I needed to integrate into my life to avoid getting to this point again, which was crucial, and really just allowing myself to be unlocked again at that. The biggest blessing has been this time. And so with that piece, I do want to pause and say I'm very aware of how blessed I am to have that support system and have people who actually support me in corporate America, because we know it don't really go down like that, right? So I'm aware of that, because I know that's like the biggest question I get is, how did you do it? But I also think it's important to kind of like trust yourself. And I say that from a different place where I was, 30 days ago. And so over the next couple of weeks, I am sharing this because I know that I'm not alone in this, and I want you guys to know that you're not the only one feeling how you're feeling. And so I want to walk you guys through and share some of my how you do it, and maybe encourage you to, again, just ask. And maybe at the end of this, you gain that courage to do what's best for you if you need it, or get some tips. So you don't have to wait until you get to a point where you can't take it no more. I hope I don't get to that point again. I'm not trying to be no vacations, no breaks, no nothing, all gas. That is not how I want to live my life. I know that now. I really feel like I've opened the next chapter of my life and opened another box to my growth. And I definitely just want to share that so that I can be an inspiration to someone who's also in that space of I feel a change coming. I did a lot of traveling, a lot of shopping, of course, a lot of resting, a lot of reflection, and I'm excited to put all this together, honestly. I've taken more space than I ever have in my life in these past 30 days, and I hope that you tune in over the next couple of weeks to just get a week by week view of what the process looked like for me. A lot of it was a lot of reflection and self-discovery. So sharing more than I've ever shared, reflecting more than I've ever reflecting, talking more than I've ever talked. And it feels very beautiful. It feels amazing. And when you feel that, that's something you have to, hopefully inspire others and share. I think it's gonna be a 7-part series if I can get there. And through it all, I definitely want you guys to ask me as many questions as you can or as you have. I want to be an open book, again, really to give you guys the courage that I gained over this process. I think it's so crucial to us as women, as individuals in this society. So please feel free to reach out to me, drop questions in the comments. And yeah, ask me anything and I will try and be honest as possible. Again, I'm on a journey, so I'm still a little, I don't know, but I will try and be honest and open as possible to make sure that you guys are locked in with me. And let's hop into week 1.